Hello, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb here with Richard Neal. We're going to talk to him not only about his journey as an actor, but also what projects you should be looking out for. So stay tuned.
It's time to shine, time to shine. So shine on. Ooh, shine on. It's time to shine. It's time to shine. Now's the moment you were created for. Can you keep feeling it's right? Come on, let's go. You're in control. So tell me why you wanna catch.
Hello, everyone. You're watching Cyrus Webb Presents here, or Conversations LA as we're calling it. As we're back in Los Angeles with some great conversations, including with the guy that's sitting next to me. We're excited to welcome actor Richard Neal to our program. One of the projects you might know him for is called Horizon Zero Dawn. We're going to talk to him not only about what it's like to be a part of that project, but also what the journey of an actor has been like for him and how you can stay connected with him. Richard, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you for having me, Cyrus.
Well, look, the pleasure's definitely on mine. You and I have never met in person
No.
before, so
Good to see you.
yeah, we're definitely glad to have you here with us. One of the great things about the internet, bringing people together, right?
Absolutely.
And our mutual
Absolutely.
friend Clint Morris with October Coast. So, what has this experience been like for you, Richard, to not only to have wanted to do something like acting, but then to be able to do it?
Well, it's sort of an addiction, to be honest with you. I mean, my main teacher, Sandy Meisner, would say if there's any other profession you can actually imagine yourself doing, you should just do it, because it's a very tough field. As you know, it's very competitive. And there's a lot of, disappointment, but once you're doing it, the actual work, it just feels like you're on cloud nine. I mean, it's like, I don't want to get too weird or new agey here, but it's very much like being in love. When you're on stage or you're in front of the camera and getting to play pretend as adults and go into this other world that you would never have in the streets of our 21st century world, or your everyday conventional lifestyle. You get to go walk in other people's shoes and imagine, like you mentioned, Horizon Zero Dawn. So to walk in somebody else's shoes, it's just amazing, because you get to be Walter Mitty in a way. Just imagine yourself in these heroic situations or not so heroic situations and play the villain, and just experience the full spectrum of the keyboard in a way, all the emotions that you're not allowed to express in polite society, or else you probably end up in jail. So it's great to, it's sort of therapeutic as well. It works out your demons, but it's great fun working with collaborating with very artistic, talented people. That's the greatest thrill of all, to be challenged and just working with really gifted people, and surrounding yourselves with people you can learn from and grow with.
Right. Richard, when you were talking, I was thinking about one of the things that we have on the radio show is about overcoming fear. Because I have people who will listen to segments like what I'm doing with you and others and say, well, you know what, I'd like to do that, or I've always wanted to do that, but how did you get past the but? Because it's easy to be able to walk ourselves out of a goal or a dream. How did you get past that obstacle in your own life?
It's hard. I'll tell you, man. I was very shy as a child. In fact, I had to see a therapist early on because I was so shy. I grew up in the Bronx in New York, and I got into a lot of fights early on. And I had anyway, I don't want to tell you about my tormented past, but I use all that now in my acting. But there's overcoming shyness, and you just kind of walk into the terror initially, and there are times I still get nervous. I mean, I kind of miss it, the kind of nerves that you can get, because initially I was pretty terrified about the whole thing. I mean, you walk into a room and there's strangers who are judging you, and there's something about you that you feel that you don't deserve to be there or something. I think all of us feel that way, but we're all actors in real life, I mean, Brando would say, why are, I don't know, was it Brando or somebody? I've read so much about everything, but like people are such good actors in real life. Why do we even have to act here? I mean, we're all acting like we all are great. We're all well-adjusted human beings who are happy and everything else, and we all have our insecurities and things that just make us more vulnerable and human. And I think once you embrace those insecurities and anxieties and really explore those places, those are actually the places that make us most unique and creative as individuals. Mm-hmm. It's those things that make us humane and other audiences will feel empathetic towards us. Sure. Because we're revealing those things, you know. I mean, I was thinking of Laurie Metcalf's performance in Lady Bird as the mother, and how complex her performance was. I mean, this feeling of feeling her daughter leaving for college, and then at the very end when she's being dropped off at the airport, this emotion that just overcame her, the complexity of her character. Right. I think it's just amazing.
Wow. Well, I think what's also amazing, and just hearing you talk about that, Richard, is that you've been able to do it. I mean, coming from where you come from,
right.
You know, and I think there are people again who will look at obstacles that they have faced and say, "Wow, well maybe I can get past this." Are you able to watch yourself? Is that something that has become easier for you over time?
If the material, it depends on the film, or if the material is good, and I'm working with good actors. Sometimes you're really well. I did a pretty good job there. I'm hypercritical. You know, I can't get over that when I'm looking at myself, especially if you see yourself on a big screen. It can be kind of terrifying to see yourself. You get vain and say, gosh, I'm getting old, or those kind of ridiculous, shallow things that you observe. I mean, but to me, it's just about the connection and the performance and. It's hard to watch myself and not be critical. You always think that, I could have done it this way, or I could have done it that way. There's always things you can pick out. But I'm getting better at it, and hopefully I'm a better actor.
You're right.
And I'm getting, nothing stinks than watching yourself act. I mean, you want to basically lose yourself in the performance and be present and listening, and really listening and really be connected. And when you find any kind of falseness, some sort of lack of honesty on the screen, it just, the camera just magnifies it. There I am acting. Right. Why did I do that?
I've been there. I've done that with interviews before. What was I thinking?
Because we're trying so hard to be entertaining, or we think that this is a bold choice or something, and it just comes off as not being grounded or something.
Yeah. Well, I think the other side of that has to be for you, Richard, is that, as you were saying to me before we began the segment, that people, they'll look at you as an example of what is possible.
Right.
Because of where you've gotten already and what's to come for you. Is that comfortable to think about? That by looking at you, you might give someone else confidence.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, role models are very important. Always. I mean, when you start off as an actor and you're a little child and watching TV or films, and you think, wow, I would like to do that. I mean, it always starts with a dream. I mean, there are people, everybody who's successful in any field will tell you there's a point where they thought of giving up, or they couldn't imagine doing that, I mean, how did they become that person? People are always talking about, there was that moment they thought of quitting, or somebody inspired them to stay in the game, and a few complimentary words can mean a lot, Yeah. And if you really love what you do, another expression that was used back in acting school was love the art in yourself, not yourself in the art. Basically meaning, if you just focus on your skills and do a good job, and not think about your status in the business. And when you're in a job and the job ends, it's always this feeling of accomplishment at the same time, like, when's the next job going to happen? If you don't have something waiting for you, there's always this feeling of insecurity, because you've got to get work. And You do things you can to stay positive.
Again, everyone, you've been watching Cyrus Webb Presents here in Los Angeles with my guest, actor Richard Neal. So, Richard, how can our audience stay connected with you?
You can find me on Facebook and also on Twitter at Richard Neal at rnealactor.
All right, so make sure you all stay connected with Richard. Richard, thank you so much for the time.
Thank
I
you
really
so much.
appreciate you stopping by.
It's been a blast.
And thank all of you for viewing us here at Cyrus Webb Presents.